gentrify that.
I love it.
It is the
I
most
love it.
beautiful thing right now to watch Black people connect on different ways and be accountable over networks and scream collaboration. That is
Yeah.
the biggest hindrance in small business today. Is a small business taking a look at its books and saying, what other small Black business can help me right now? Let me humble
Mhm.
myself and stop trying to pull myself up by my bootstraps, because none of my white counterparts had to do that.
Right.
I'm gonna say it again. None of my white counterparts had to do that. Uh,
Hmm.
collaborate,
Yeah.
collaborate. Go
It
find
works.
out. Go find out what you can't do, and find somebody else that can, and figure out how you can help one another. That is the
Yeah.
biggest hindrance, and I'm not talking about Black, but just small business. Just
Yeah.
small business, period. So being able to build these homes, these networks, and I tell everybody I work with, and I really shouldn't even be putting this type of intellectual property out, but stop calling these Facebook pages. Call them channels, and watch the market scramble, because that's exactly what we're building right now. We're creating our own content as the curators of culture, and we're
Hmm.
accountable over those spaces, and we control them. That's how we.
Hey, beautiful. Vibing on a Thursday night. Hey. Can't nobody.
Okay. I guess Clark said,
Started out right. I just started out right.
thank you so
Love
much
it.
for joining us on Thursday Thoughts tonight. I know we got a little bit of a late start, but we appreciate you all so much for tuning in. We have myself, Lynn Idahosa, Executive Director of the Federal Way Black Collective, Dre James on the anchor spot with access to, and our esteemed guest, Miss Jenefeness.
Woohoo.
How are you this evening?
Hey, I am excellent. I am excellent. Had a long day, but I feel good. I'm happy to be here with you guys and just vibing on the couch on a Thursday thoughts. I love it.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. Tell the people a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so when you say that, it's such a loaded question because I do a lot. But here's what I want to be known for. I want to be known for doing anything that pertains to economics, entrepreneurship, and emotional intelligence. So I am a certified business advisor with the Washington Small Business Development Center. And what that means is we provide no cost business advising to small business owners in the state of Washington. So that is technical one-on-one assistance. It's also training classes. I'm super duper excited we have up week, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about that in a moment. I'm a professor, I teach economics and business, but in my own business, I am a personal finance and life coach and do a lot with professional development and personal development and helping folks to get where they want to be and developing solutions. So that's a little bit about me, or a lot about me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us tonight, and I appreciate you for being a friend. Tonight, we are going to unpack a little, maybe it's a well known secret, but I just found out. So I want to make sure my viewers know about the fact that we have an amazing event coming up next week. And the reason why we're doing that is because of the services we provide on a regular basis to the community. So, what's happening next week?
Oh my goodness. What's happening next week is we have Black Owned Business Excellence Month, okay? So we got February coming up, which is Black History Month, and we are coining that Black Owned Business Excellence Month. So on February 2nd, we have a full day just a full day exposition of all of these different events and different people. We have a panel of some successful Black owned businesses here in Washington. We have a state of the Black owned business address that's going to be done by Mayor Woodards and also State Senator Tawana Nobles, and also you're going to be speaking on that.
Oh my goodness! Boom, 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 boom. Wait. Let's just highlight the moment. Washington has not had a Black senator in quite a long time. So shout out to my friend, amazing advocate in the community. Shout out to your win in Pierce County, Tawana Nobles.
Yes, she is going to be. Actually, is that her? Yeah, she's listening right now. She just did the clapping hands. Look, I'm like, wait.
So grateful that you won. We can't wait to see the amazing outcomes of this session. And I was so excited to testify in front of you last week, Senator Nobles.
Yes.
What you're doing.
So I'm super excited about that. What we're trying to do is really normalize Black-owned business excellence. You know, we see some businesses, and we'll share a post here and there. We may even support. Like, for example, when I learned about that there's a Black-owned cell phone company. Did y'all know that?
Did not know that.
I had heard that.
Oh my goodness. I switched last year and I've been with them ever since.
Here? Okay, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Anybody can switch. It does not matter what cell phone you have. They have their own cell phone. I bought their cell phone, but you can bring your iPhone, your Samsung, your Motorola. You can bring whatever phone you have and get on this Black-owned business platform, okay? It's called Figures, Figgers. And the plan is $60 a month, okay? And that's unlimited everything. Yeah. I wish I could show y'all my unboxing, because the whole thing that they sent me, it was just so plush and prestigious. I'm like, I love Black-owned, baby. So anything Black-owned, okay? But we want to normalize Black-owned business excellence. You know, did y'all know that Calendly was Black-owned?
I found out like 2 days ago. Because they are already in my email. So people already scheduled me on Calendly. But I was like, I know that's right. Get it.
They be thinking all we do is cut hair and cook food. No, we do much more. We are in this tech business, okay? We doing techie stuff, okay? Thank you. Figures Communications. That's Black-owned. And it's the only one. So we need to be flooding him with our business, okay? So anything Black-owned. So getting back to the event. This event is going to be amazing. If you are thinking about starting a business, if you have a business, if you want to grow your business, if you want to advance your business, you should be available for this event. In addition to that, we got some scholarships from KeyBank and from Seattle Credit Union. We're giving out 5 $1,000 scholarships, period.
Oh, man, I missed the meeting. I didn't even know about that. That's what's up.
Yes. It's about to be on and popping. So I'm putting the link in here right now. So if you guys haven't heard of it yet, go register, get signed up, and be there. Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be there.
So this is the part of, because what I'm hearing right now is when you're giving this service to the community, I'm hearing Black excellence. So this is the part of the show that I like to call "Give Them Their Flowers." I really want to highlight you, Jenefeness, as a Black entrepreneur, but also as a Black hero. So I want to ask you a series of questions that allow our community to know exactly who has decided to dedicate their lives to serving them. That is why I call this "Give Them Their Flowers While They're Here."
I
So,
love it.
my first question to you, if I were to ask you, is who, when you started, like, who was your first influence when it comes to finance, when it comes to money, when it comes to just learning the game and learning the ins and outs and absorbing that tactic, ingratiating yourselves into that community. Number two, learning the bias of it, because the position that you're in with the state allows you to combat that bias, basically at the forefront. That's why I say give your flowers,
Mhm.
and that as well. So really, who are your main influences when it comes to that level of game?
To be honest, I came from nothing. I started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Okay. So I started from nothing. I came from a family where we were 3 generations deep in poverty, and coming from that, it was like I just felt like, okay, you born broke, that ain't your fault. But if you die broke, that's on you. Okay. So when I say it took me looking, searching for resources. It took me wanting to do better, wanting to know better. And so I had a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors, a lot of folks in my life that really just like helped me to get where I am. And so to name a few, man, you asking me to name a few, right? So I'm thinking about it and I'm like, my first encounter with wanting to know or have a good relationship with money happened with an ex-boyfriend. He was really good with money. He was a tithe payer. This dude was out selling drugs, but on come Sunday he was paying tithes. You know what I'm saying?
People don't understand the difference. Like when you consider outside of your capitalistic gains or desires for those gains, when you have a calling that says that you wake up and regardless of infrastructure, whatever, like it was about, he was feeding into a community.
Yep.
There was a
That's what he was doing.
for that regular donation. And I feel like sometimes it gets perverted when we're looking at the history with like slavery, but like notions of building Black, especially where we find peace, it matters.
It does matter. And I believe in principles. I believe in principles. I believe in, what you're going to reap what you sow. I believe in that wholly. And I believe in the fact that we can't outgive God. And so the more we give, the more we get back. And so I believe in, so that was my very first start. I'm one of those people, I was super young when I had my son. I have 2 children. I have a 28-year-old son. His birthday was last Friday. And I have a 15-year-old daughter. But when I had my son when I was super young, and so I was on my own when I was super young, and I was receiving a welfare check, okay, under $300 a month and some food stamps, okay? And I just managed that. So it was like one of those things where you just, you be faithful over least and you will get much more. You can be faithful over much more. So I was faithful over that little bit. And God knew that you could trust me with more. And I became faithful over that. So I just believe in principles.
Absolutely. Second question. You being a unicorn in the world of finance, because last time I checked the statistics, Black people make up about 7% of the makeup of people in the world of finance. That's it. Extremely low. How was it coming up, learning, in class and in school, and looking around and seeing maybe one person that looks like you, or being taught by a professor maybe one time statistically in your entire educational journey that looked like you? How was it growing up, coming up through the ranks and then all the way to your position that you have now, navigating those muddy waters, also dealing with microaggressions that you face on a daily basis? People don't understand too, as a Black woman. So explain some of those aspects to us.
So I will say that I was raised in a community of people that look like me. I didn't know I was a minority till I got to college. I was like, minority? Who a minority? I was raised hood. So everybody I was raised around looked like me. I didn't know I was a minority. But once I got to college and I started hearing that, you know, minority and things like that, I was like, oh, but I had already had this I don't know what you want to call it. Some people call it an ego or whatever, but I think of myself as superior. You know what I'm saying? So I don't deal on those same vibes as other folks do. Even now, you know, in the environments that I go in, I call folks out. I ain't from here. I tell people that almost daily. I'm not from here. I don't bite my tongue. I don't mince my words. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And if you get offended by that, I don't care. Like, I don't even know what to do about that. So,
but we need more of that because in the Pacific Northwest, we have a tendency to lean towards the passive aggressive. So I appreciate it.
And all I could do is just be me. I know some folks do get offended by it. And you know, like I said, okay. I mean, just this week, this lady sent an email. She said, you should watch your tone. I don't know why you're talking. What's wrong with you? I'm like, what's wrong with you? I said, no. What part of didn't you understand? Was that rude? Was that mean? Are you not used to hearing no? Like, I don't get it. What's wrong with you? But yeah, it's different. It's different. But you know what? I'm going to keep being Jenefeness. And yes, you're right. There are some folks that don't like it. You know, you get those looks, you get those, you call them microaggressions. I get blatant, you know, disrespect or whatnot, but I'm a big girl. I put my big girl drawers on and I keep it moving.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We need that. We definitely need that in our communities. We need champions. You know, interestingly enough, like I see people like scrambling with this pandemic, right? And I'm like, hold on. Everything that would actually work, like I've been seeing Black consultants champion these priorities as far as equity and how you do this, that, and the third. And like, you know, how you make sure that you have the best facts being generated because our people are the creators. But, you know, I'm not going to go there. But there's all these best practices. And it seems to have just really, really, really manifested on a large level in like the last year. But how do we ensure that our successes translate within our industry? Because we're like, it's kind of like a balancing act, right? Some of our industries, and I feel like I'm one of them, as a nonprofit, I have services. So there are like direct funds pumped in pandemics, right? But there's other, like for instance, Black business owners who are very similar to me in nature, but not in like filing. So although I have the same questions as a first generation business owner, they're answered very differently as a nonprofit. So for sure. The community, that support level, what does that look like? And like, how do we move forward when we know there are like C3 avenues for support aren't really in a position to support us the way that they need as far as business owners?
Yeah.
We're designed to support people, not businesses, but at the same time.
I think that's the reason why a lot of us have come together for this Black-owned business excellence. It's not that we don't start businesses, because we start businesses. What we don't do is we don't sustain them. And we don't really know how to get them to grow to where we're actually receiving a profit, you know, where it's profitable, where we're out here able to, you know, access capital, like the guy with Calendly the other day. What was it? What is this, 4 billion or something?
He solved so many problems.
Oh my goodness. So it's just like, I think that's the biggest thing. We don't even start, we start wrong. And I've done it. You know what I'm saying? I've started a couple of my businesses wrong, but we start wrong and we don't seek out the proper help. And that's the purpose of this Black-owned business excellence, is to say, you know what, whatever level you're on, let us help you where you are. You know how we say love them where they at? Let us love you where you at. Let us love you in the position you're in and get you where you need to be. Okay. So I think that's the biggest thing. We have this pride. We have this persona. We dressed up, but we messed up and just too afraid to even say, you know what? I'm jacked up. Help me. Help me. I don't know what the financial statement looks like. I don't know if my profit or loss. I don't know if my balance sheet is balancing. You know, can you teach me? Can you help me? But we have so much pride. We sit back acting like we got it together and acting like we know what these things mean, and we don't. And this is why we can't get ahead. Like, seek out help. Seek it out and accept it.
I would say that that's so critical because as a newer business resiliency contractor, I'm like, okay, boom, I'm about to go in. I'm about to solve all my community problems because as long as I have access to the application, they ready, they got it, she ready, right? I was ready. But my requirements for my contract, right, are different than their requirements for accessing and receiving funds. And so their level of readiness really depended a lot on their acceptance rate for actually getting that deposit, like getting that bag. Make sure that you can make payroll, pay for infrastructure, all of those things. And it sucks because, like, in our community, like, if you're a trusted messenger, like, you better have them answers.
Yeah.
So when some don't come through, like maybe people think it was supposed to, but we got to reconcile this, right? Because we all need to be better educated about how to tap into large dollar funds.
We do. And we got to be in a position to receive, right? So even though the funds are there, you know, all this money that came about, not saying that they didn't treat us wrong, because we know, you know, we were put on the back burner. Okay. We know there was oftentimes we didn't learn about stuff until the deadline was over. Like, we know all those things happen.
We wouldn't have been screwed in the pandemic.
Bam. So, but in addition to knowing that those things were happening, we have to have our house in order so that we can receive. And that's the part, that part is what we need to work on. That sustainability. Like you said, all this money is being funneled through. All this money is readily available right now. But how do we sustain ourselves beyond these grants, beyond these loans? You know, so that's the part that we need to get to with these Black-owned businesses and doing in excellence.
I'm glad you said that. Because I want to point out something super dope here, and I've preached about this before, and as soon as I start talking, Lynn will know where I'm going with this. Bias, racism, inequity has truly messed up. They messed up giving Black people the power of collaboration and connectivity.
I wouldn't say they messed up. I'd say they are actually finally living up to what they say in like that scholarship and that performative as fuck letter of whatever acknowledgement.
But even further, what I'm saying is they've given Black people accountability over networks. When you say we need to build our home, that's exactly what minorities have started doing. With Facebook pages, Facebook groups. They have actually, the pandemic has actually given us some sort of awakening where we've actually been connected more than ever before. When I say racism messed up, trust me, we scream at each other and say we need to buy the block. We need to buy neighborhoods. We need to buy real estate. But as the curators of culture, and I'm going to say that again, Black people are the curators of culture. I'm going to say it one more. Are the curators of culture. We drive this machine.
We do.
We're the ones who create these hundreds of thousand Facebook page followings and then produce marketplaces for ourselves. We begin to do that. And now we can now build homes. We can now place our digital marketing over here. We can now place financial advising over here. We can now place yourself with financial coaching over here and build a home and make it exclusive to Black people. When you hear Federal Way Black Collective, you already know before you step through the door what it is. And you can't gentrify that.
I love it.
It is the most beautiful thing right now to watch Black people connect on different ways and be accountable over networks and scream collaboration. That is the biggest hindrance in small business today, is a small business taking a look at its books and saying, what other small Black business can help me right now? Let me humble myself and stop trying to pull myself up by my bootstraps, because none of my white counterparts had to do that.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. None of my white counterparts had to do that. Collaborate.
Yeah.
Collaborate. Go find out what you can't do and find somebody else that can, and figure out how you can help one another. That is the biggest hindrance. And I'm not talking about Black, but just small business. Just small business, period. So being able to build these homes, these networks, and I tell everybody I work with, and I really shouldn't even be putting this type of intellectual property out, but stop calling these Facebook pages. Call them channels and watch the market scramble, because that's exactly what we're building right now. We're creating our own content as the curators of culture, and we're over those spaces and we control them. That's how we should be looking at it. We are building our own marketplaces, our own homes, our own streets, our own Black Wall Streets right before our eyes. We just need to collaborate. That's it. That is the next step in the evolution of minorities and specifically Black people, period.
Let me tell you why that resonates with me so much. With this Black-owned business excellence, it is a collaborative effort. To tell you, like, we got Black Dot, Africa Town, Urban Impact, Business Impact Northwest, PTAC, SBA, the Washington Small Business Development Center, the Seattle Public Library, Federal Way Black Collective. We have Key Bank, Seattle Credit Union. We have all of these folks that have come together and said, we got to do something with Black-owned businesses. We have to make this thing sustainable. All of this money that they're throwing at BIPOC, and every time I hear BIPOC, in my mind, that translates to Black. Like, they're speaking a language, and my mind says Black. So right now, there are so many different entities that saying, oh, we have to invest in BIPOC. We see the disparity. We see this. We see that. Okay, but this money is about to go away. And how do we make this sustainable, that beyond these little loans or these little grants that's being given out, how do we make this thing sustainable beyond that? And so when these folks came together to do this, it's been phenomenal. And that's why I'm so excited about next week, because it's a collaborative effort. And it goes back to exactly what you just said, collaboration.
Absolutely.
We're building this culture.
Absolutely. I'm honestly tired of the state grant money rat wheel of feeding a fish to a young minority company for a year, but not teaching that minority company to fish. Not giving them the sustainability. These networks and these marketplaces that we're building, we're actually learning to teach ourselves. We're actually learning to start saving ourselves.
I love it.
So that's what I have to say, and I appreciate what you have going on, with the Black Business Expo next week.
But it's not just next week. We have a flagship event on February 2nd, but there's like an entire month. Even though February is the shortest month, it is Black History Month. So I'm super excited that this is going to be wrapped in. You want to tell the people how that's about to roll out?
Yes. So that is the actual second annual Black-owned business excellence event. But for the entire month of February, putting together a calendar of all of these different events. So what we're doing is we're doing like an asset map where we're saying, okay, the history is that we don't have access, right? We learn about stuff too late. or we just never know about it. It's like, oh, you got the what type of grant? Oh, I didn't even know that was out there. Where was that at? So what we're doing is we're trying to create a collaboration of all of these multiple events and multiple things that are going on across the state of Washington that can help Black-owned businesses become excellent and sustainable and also grow. So it's not just that event, but it's for the entire month and also for the entire year of 2021. But this is the kickoff.
So I'm a young man attending this event for the first time. I know nothing about finance. In your heart of hearts, when I'm done with this event, what will you have hope that I'm edified with?
So on the realm of finance, so we have a business credit class that's coming up. Bam. Learn how to create your business credit, okay? To build your business credit. So when you talk about finance, we just did a webinar just last week about understanding your financial statements. We're doing one on choosing or changing your business structure, knowing how your business structure can benefit you, like what benefits you have, and it's from a tax perspective. I mean, we're doing all kinds of things to help with small business growth and also the understanding of finances, business, legal. We just had a webinar just yesterday on contracts, understanding contracts with an attorney, that did the webinar. We have a CPA doing the webinars. All of these things are going to be readily available and accessible to us and our community. It's for the culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is lit. First of all, I'm a little sis. Why you tell me? I would have cleared my schedule. Like, we gotta be honest with each other right now in this call, folks. Contracting with a lawyer is mad expensive.
Yeah.
Protecting your intellectual property can be mad expensive.
Yeah, the third class is coming up. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no, I would say there were like ways to navigate that and having access directly to attorneys that are willing to speak to you and answer questions for you. That is what will close the gap.
Absolutely. So yes, somebody asked in the chat, is this virtual? Absolutely, it is virtual. The website is bit.ly, BOBE 2021. It's virtual, it's all day symposium, and mostly everything is virtual. Ain't nobody going to nobody's office right now with this COVID. Everything is virtual. So yes. Thank you, Black Collective, for putting it in the chat. Yes, everything's virtual to answer that question. Yes. Oh, so anyways, there's 4 classes from the attorney. Part 2 have already taken place, and they're available for free download on demand on our website at WSBDC.org. So even though you weren't there, you can still listen in and get her contact information and hear all this good information that she gave.
That's so critical because honestly, I've talked to so many businesses since March. Like, that wasn't necessarily the Black Collective's jam before the pandemic. Like, just being completely transparent, we wanted to highlight, be a vehicle, but as far as like technical support, that's a heavy lift. Being able to provide services to business owners, that is a heavy lift to be able to make sure that you provide an adequate service that allows them to provide an adequate service to their clients. And I'm really excited because I was like, we are never going to partner in another way that does not completely make sense for the user, not us, but for the user.
Yeah.
And moving forward, like, that's what business excellence looks like. So like, what made you guys think of this concept? Because I bought into it. Like, I know it works, but like, how did you guys know that this would be how to get businesses united?
It's funny because when I moved here, I told you I moved here 2.5 years ago. When I first moved here, I didn't see this. And so I started going down to Black Dot, to the masterminds, hooking up with Curtis. Then I met BJ and I started going to his Sharks at the Beach and speaking at his different events that he would ask me to speak at. And then I started just building my network kind of organically. And so when we got a grant from the Washington Department of Commerce, and then we got another grant from BECU, and they said, hey, we want to get to the underserved community, the BIPOC community. I was like, oh, you said Black people? Okay. So as soon as they said the BIPOC community, I was like, hey,
so you're
Curtis,
right.
DJ, I was like, listen, they recognizing us, like we got to do something here, and they both was like, let's do it. So we met like twice, and then we just started inviting other people, and now we meet every Friday at 10 o'clock, and it went from the three of us to now, like, I don't know, sometimes 15, 20 people on the call, and it's all just everybody talking about what are we gonna do. What's your role? What can you do? What's your role? What can you do? What you on this call for? How can you help these people? Like, what are we doing here? Let's see what we can do.
Being just 100% transparent. That's what I've loved about meeting you so far, because I mean, people know me, you know, they can Google me, they can talk about my organization, whatever. They can like look us up. But you were like, surface, meet reality. What do you bring to the table, and what are your plans for advancement of the Black community? And you were like, sis, you got to be accountable. And I was like, boom, this is what we got, because we are legit. But I also knew that you were setting a standard. And so often people are shy to set standards.
Or mad because you said it. Like, what? I didn't ask you to be here. You wanted to be here, okay? So if you here, why are you here, boo boo? You just soaking up information. You need some on your calendar at this time. I need to know. Like,
I say, you hear what she has? Pull it up. Send her the slide deck while I'm talking. Get it going. Because like we need to make sure she knows that we are serious. We show up every day because like she's about serious business. And so are we. Like, we need to make sure we secure this. You know, it's interesting. Like, I'm not often like, we have to prepare for this meeting or something like that, right? Because to me, what I'm most concerned about is affecting change within the community. It's not like this big pitch meeting or this, that. But that's because I have the luxury of being a not-for-profit entity. So I don't have those constraints. But the majority of Black businesses in the state are for-profit entities. So they don't have that luxury. So how do I show up for them? How do I make sure that I'm utilizing my privilege? Because I want to model good behavior. Because guess what? Not just Black entities call me, white entities call me too. How do I model good behavior to where I can educate and not take over in an area where I do not have clear expertise? So modeling that has been so important. And I love the fact that the vehicle you guys have created has been a natural roll-in to keeping that going.
Wait a minute. You created it too, boo. You've been there too, okay? This is a collaborative effort. All right. So this is all of us. And we're going to keep pushing it. Like, we're going to keep it rolling, keep pushing and gathering the dust along the way and letting some, fall off. But we're going to keep this thing rolling because that's what it's all about for all of 2021. 2020, I think, was just like that ground where we were able to see exactly what is needed in our community. Like, we identified all these needs and all these gaps and the fact that nobody's really filling them. And so now that we've identified them, now it's time to fill in the gaps. Like, okay, this is what the community needs. Who can give it? Who can supply it? Who does this thing? And making those connections, along the way. And we ain't stopping. We ain't stopping until Black-owned businesses are excellent.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Lynn, as we wrap up our show, give our community a brief rundown on some of the services your organization focuses on, to provide for the community.
Well, one of the things that my staff probably does not ever tire of hearing me say is that we're not a direct service provider. So the Black Collective is a nonprofit that services other businesses to make sure that they have what they need. We can provide the collaboration space, and not only just providing collaborative space, but providing a safe spaces is extremely key. Making sure that folks really can utilize their voice and that they feel strong, and that they know that it's not about like me being the big partner. Like when I'm doing things with the Black Collective, I'm always like, yo, you got to meet Jenefeness. You got to meet this person. You got to meet that person, this person. Like, man, because for sure, me, myself personally, I'd rather that you do have external relationships. I'm tired. I'm a single mom. So call other people. But I mean, if you need me, I am here. But there are so much avenues right now being built, especially with everyone being home, with everyone like learning different skill sets. We all have to be here for each other. The one thing that's different about our community, right, is that Black excellence is so key. And we love it. We vibe in it. It gives us joy, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to vibe like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jenefeness.
Yeah.
Same question for you. Give the community some of the services or the service that you provide and you focus on every day.
So with the Washington Small Business Development Center, which is what I'm representing here, we provide no cost business advising. So that's one-on-one technical assistance where we will walk you through whether it's, starting a business, growing a business, selling a business. We help you with all phases of that. We are certified business advisors, meaning we've gone through a certification program. We didn't just pop up and say, "Oh, I'm a business advisor," because we got a lot of them too. But
strong partnerships. We may be babies, but we know the right people.
Bam, there we go. So, and then we provide those connections too. We provide connections to whatever the business owners say they need. If they need an attorney, if they need a CPA, if they need, an insurance agent, if they need access to capital, let's just say they want a CDFI instead of a traditional lender. Like making those connections to those resources are super duper important.
A lot of people don't even know the difference between a CDFI and a traditional lender. That we're gonna have to do a whole nother episode because that was gems.
Yes. And we're actually going to have a panel discussion on February 2nd after these Black-owned business excellence business owners panel. There's a panel with some CDFIs, with SBA, with some other lenders on there to talk about how they are for the culture, they're for the community, and how they're doing specific things to reach our community. So being that resource, being that collaborative, partner, but also the training that we provide is phenomenal. And a lot of it is on demand. Like you don't have to, you can register and listen to it at your leisure, right? So we have that available too now with this pandemic. This pandemic has been a blessing for me.
Honestly, it has been a blessing to vehicles of transparency.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact that you're willing though, because not every person in a leadership role knows how to share information and build the community and still be able to do their role. It's critical as we continue to pivot with remote work, remote businesses, that we all stay at the table and grasp these large topics and go back to the biggest old school topic in such, which is communication.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Comprehension. My daughter said that the other day. She said communication ain't key, comprehension is key. I'm like, you gotta say it.
She better preach.
Because we could be talking all day long, but if I don't comprehend what you're saying, that's something totally different. I want to recognize some of the people in the chat. Thank you, Samantha. She says she's so thrilled and thankful. Let's get this work popping. We got Giselle. She said some amazing Black women in the room. We got Jacqueline Harris. She said collaboration is key. Everyone contributing their strengths and resources for the common good. Like we got to recognize. I love that. I'm all about shouting it out. Okay. Thank y'all for joining and thanking y'all for staying and being here and listening and just being a part of this whole collaborative effort.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I myself am Dre James from Access 2. As you hear these two lovely queens explain their service to the community, Access is focused on building the pipeline. I can't tell you how to design a web page, but I can kick in the door for you and find you a job. That's our focus. Is we're Black first. We focus on, developing minority careers. We provide professional development, resume coaching, and really just networking for yourself to enter some of these worlds that you are disconnected from as a minority in South King County. So that's our goal, is building that bridge between Seattle and South King County, and developing the minority market to make it even stronger. So that's my
Beautiful. I love it.
I am so grateful to have everyone here with us this evening. I feel like we have definitely started like just the brink. I definitely know that both of my co-hosts could be here with us till the coming of Black Jesus. Telling great examples of how to move forward, pledging support to actually show up in rooms and be there with you as true advocates and life and thought partners.
Absolutely.
What we're building is deeper than just something you see. This is a family. This is the collective, and how we rock.
Oh,
So the ghost of Teddy Riley has come and taken Lynn, and now he has brought Lynn back to us. We're gonna reintroduce her back to the lovely world of the Federal Way Black Collective, and tell Teddy to stay away from our internet connections, please. The ghost of Teddy.
I mean, I was taking y'all to church. Just know we
yes, it was deep. It was deep.
But like, I appreciate everyone. I love the vibes we've gotten, and it's so big in the community. It's all really about what you need. So please just continue to let us know. Keep rocking with us. Keep reaching out to our partners. They are so strategic. They're based on your needs.
Yeah.
So have a great night. We hope that you check us out February 2nd. And the month of February, we'll have dope content planned and collaboration. And as always, we'll see you next Thursday.
See y'all. Thank you.